What's up, y'all? So I'm gonna give y'all a little video today on how I replace lifters, since this is about my 5th time doing it. I've got a 2008 Chevy Silverado 5.3. Noticed it was misfiring. No needed an oil pump for a long time, but I'll show you guys what it's doing. Kind of go through over some steps and the way I do it quickly. No bullshit about it. So here we go. Focus. Alright, check engine lights on. My oil pressure is at 20, like 21, maybe 20 and a half. It's supposed to be at 40. Scanner's telling me it's cylinder 4, so that is the same one I've replaced, which is that cylinder number 4 right there, the second one. That I'm using is, I'm not sponsored, it's just top on. Got it for like 50, 60 bucks on Amazon. It works pretty good. And for all y'all thinking that this is scary and hard and all that stuff, I'm no mechanic. I grew up working on cars with my mom and my dad and my family and stuff. We all had pretty decent cars. You don't need a whole lot of tools for this job, honestly, for real. I got here, well, that's not even an impact. I got a regular screw gun and just your basic tools, man. Just your basic set. That's all you need to do this job. It's straightforward. I'm gonna try to give y'all a little how I've done it, since this is like my 5th time doing it. Just kind of give y'all a little rundown, maybe show y'all some things that I haven't seen in videos that I had a little issues with, like the header and stuff like that. I don't unbolt the header. I got a couple little tricks that I'd like to show you guys. So first, obviously, you're gonna take your intake stuff off. I take that out, and I take the throttle body off. It's there and there, and then this pops off. So got that one loose. Gotta get this one loose. Come on, done. There we go. There's that. There's that. Sorry guys, I ain't got really a phone holder for this, but I'll do what I can. There you guys, a little something. Alright, so just gonna pull that off. We've got one vent hose. I usually just pull it. It's right here. Just pull that off. See, just comes right off. Just pull it right out. Bing bong. And this piece comes out. There you go. So now that you got your intake stuff off, now we're gonna I unbolt your coolant lines that run to your heater core and stuff. I don't completely take those off either. I just unbolt it from that, which is right there. Just has this little holder that holds these two. When you take these out, I can usually flip them around. So I'll flip that back over there like that, and that kind of holds it somewhat out of the way. And so now that you've got lines out of the way, brackets out of the way, your next step is to pull this pin, pop that. It should be real easy. See, boom, it should come out real easy. If not, just use a little pick, you know, to get you one of these, a little screwdriver. And after you get your connection off for your cool packs, you want to remove the cool pack rail. You don't have to remove each single one. This is all on a rail. So you remove that one. It's next to the filler neck. You remove that one there. One in the back. It's right there. Oh, there it is. On the back, they all kind of have bigger studs on them. There's supposed to be one in the back, but considering I've done this so many times, I didn't put it back in. It holds just fine. And most of this job is done with a 10 mil, an 8 mil, and I think a 12 and a 14. That's all you need. Alright, so after you remove your bolts, this whole thing is just loose. Now you can get to your valve cover. So next step is just to pop your boots off on all 4 cylinders on whatever side you need. Don't be a dumbass like me. Wait for the motor to cool off before you burn the shit out of your hands. Alright, got that going. Alright, all those are removed. You just kind of just wiggle it up out of here. See, boom, it all comes out all in one piece. You don't got to remove every single thing. There you go. So next we got to get the valve cover off. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And then that valve cover pop right off. And I'm gonna show you another trick right after this to see exactly what cylinder it is if you're not sure. Right now that all your bolts are loose, this will just literally lift out of here. It's very easy. See it? Just be careful not to get caught on nothing. And then that exposes your rocker arms. All right, some of y'all might call me crazy, but I'm gonna start the truck on 4 cylinders. I've done it. I've seen it in a video a few times. Guy said it was fine. Just do it quickly, and I'll show you guys how I do it. I just go around, look at it, and you'll see the rocker arm either moving up and down or it'll stay. And I'll show you. All right, that's it, running on all 4 cylinders. You see that one right there, how it's not moving, but all these are moving. Cylinder 4, got a dead lifter. Get your ass up and you shut it off before you get oil everywhere. All right, and so for this next part, you can either go one of 2 ways. You can either start with the intake or you can start with the headers. At this point, I usually go with the intake. I unbolt all those bolts there. 1, 2, 3. There's some more back there. And you just go on both sides. You'll see them in between the rails and all that stuff. I do not completely unhook the intake. It just seems stupid to me. What I do is when I get it to where it's loose and it can lift up off of the engine block, I put a spray paint can in there and it gives it enough room for the head. This up, lifts this whole intake up just enough on one side to where I can take the head off of it. Take your intake off. I've got a long extension, 8mm socket, and I just go down the line. All right, now that you've gotten everything unbolted, all loose under there, this will lift, get under there. Take your trusty spray paint can, and that's gonna slide up under there. Paint can goes under there. Now you've got to another trick too. When doing your header, I don't go from the top, from the engine bay. I go right here. Just go ahead, and there's a 10mm there, and those are 7s. It's a 7, 7, 7, and then once you remove this liner, everything is right there. All right, so now you can see that you can get to all your header bolts there. Leave me alone about my wires. I know I need a wire loom. All right, so I just start going to town. These have been taken off before, so they're usually pretty easy. As I say, make a liar out of me. All right, next up, I've got 1, 2, 3 header bolts off. I'm working on the 4th one. Got to take your oil. Oh, what the hell is the oil bracket off? Your dipstick bracket off. I use a 14. I don't know what your truck has, but it probably has a 14. And you just once you've got that unbolted, just keep going down the line with it. All right, so this back one is a bit of a bitch, but I mean, I use this 13 here. If you got a swivel and a smaller one, that's great for you. I don't, so I'm just showing y'all the rudimentary, no power tools, just straight up dirt, rocks, driveway. Yeah, so basically I'll get it loose with my ratchet, then I'll weave my hand in here. Oh, well, there we go, if I can get it to focus. And just kind of get her to twist. Now I know a lot of y'all's trucks are probably not gonna be this easy. So an impact and a wobbly will do you good. So now that you've got your header loose, obviously you can move it. There's a gasket behind there, obviously your intake manifold gasket. It'll fall out or it'll stay. If it falls out, make sure you clean it off real good. Try not to dent it, mangle it up, all that stuff. It should have a marking on it that says this side towards engine. So when you take that off, you know that it goes that way instead of that way. So next up, you gotta get that header out of the way so the head can come out of it. What I do, I seen in another YouTube video, you get you your handy ratchet strap that's been in your yard or in the back of your truck for 10 years, and you're gonna I wrap it around this second one. So that'd be cylinder number 2. I usually wrap it around there, and then I wrap it to my wheel, and then ratchet it, and it pulls it this way. Don't pull it too much now, because you can bend. You'll bend and break all of this down here, and when you go to put that back, it won't sit right at all. So I just do enough to just get it in there, and to just pull it off of the motor a good ways, probably about 3-4 inches. All right, so you go in here. I had to shut the hood because it might rain on me, but take your end here and go up under. God damn it. All right, so what do? Take your hook end and go under. It'll kind of go up under there like so, and then just get your fingers in there and get a hold of it. Like I said, this part's a little tricky, but it is well worth not taking your headers off. And I'm glad for the guy that I seen that video on that showed me to do this. Well, there you go on the other side. Pull it through. Pull it through, hook it on itself like that. So now you got a tight connection. So you bring your ratchet over here to your rim. You hook it on, ratchet her down. Right, so you're only gonna ratchet this thing a few times now until it pretty much just gets tight. See, it's moving this whole thing, but as you can see, I now have clearance. Won't work good. There you go. So now, as you can see, there's my setup. There. Get that bad boy out of the way. What I was talking about earlier, this one might have it. It'll say manifold side there. There it is. You can barely see mine, but it says manifold side. So that means that this side goes to the exhaust manifold. This side goes to the engine. So now next, you got your engine grounds. Got a ground that goes there. And I'm pretty sure that's it for mine. You're gonna take that ground off. And then next, you're gonna take that line, which is obviously in the front. Take that side off and take that side off. If you haven't drained your coolant, it's gonna leak coolant everywhere. It's gonna keep going too, and it's gonna get all over the damn place. So make sure you drain some of your coolant out. I don't drain all of mine out. I just drain, I don't know, that much out. And it still leaks a little bit, but. All right, y'all, this is day 2. It rained on me yesterday. It's raining on me today. That's okay. I got my trusty canopy set up. Where I left y'all at yesterday was the headers. I got this cranked down or away from the engine block. So next step, I'm gonna go ahead and take that line off, get some fluid out of her, and then I will be working on the rocker arm rail. Alright, so for draining the fluid too, I always take your big boy off. It's just got that clamp on there. Put your bucket up underneath of it. I just got me a sawed in half 5-gallon bucket. And that way you can take the big pipe, your big coolant line off. You can kind of direct it to where you want to go if you're using the same fluid or whatever, you know, so you don't spill on the ground, to be environmentally friendly. You obviously gotta lose some, but I'm just in that bucket. See, I'm losing a bunch of shit, but I needed to get new fluid anyways. So yeah, you just, she's flowing. Alright, after you got your fluid drained, you want to take this hose clamp off, get this hose out of the way, and then it's 2 10 mils, one there, and one right there. Alright, so your next step, I'm going to take my rocker arm rail off. You just take each one of these bolts off, this one, all of them all the way down the line. You just loosen them all the way up. All of them are 8 mil. I leave the bolts in them so that way they go back in the same spot that they were in. Same thing with the push rods that are in there. Alright, once you got them all loose, grab it by the rail, not by the rocker arm, and just pull all of them out, like so, like that. Okay, and as you see, it exposed your push rods. I try to keep them with each cylinder that it was in. Alright, so here's fun part. This is where you get all your cussing out. If you've got any built up testosterone. So here's the fun part. This is where you get all your cussing out. Got any pent up aggression on a girlfriend. This is where you take it out on getting these head bolts out. Now I've done this a bunch, so like I said, mine aren't as bad, but I know some other trucks probably have never done this. So I have to go 1, 2, all the way down. The back one's a bit of a bitch because it's in there, it's right there, and you ain't got much clearance. But then you go on that row 2 all the way to the back, and then you got these that run along your intake side. I'm sorry fellas, just do your best, get you a big wrench, maybe a breaker bar if they're hard, but yeah, just so now here's where you get your big boy britches on and go ahead and get all your cussing out. Your bigger head bolts are going to be 15, smaller ones going to be 8, just for reference. And today I got some power tools. Let's see if these weren't gonna break it. Nope. Once again, you just go down the line. Like I said, I've done these before, so I just get my middle loose. Go down the line. I just use my small ratchet. The small that. It's just, if you got one that fits it or an impact, I'd suggest going that route. Alright, and also when you're doing this back 10mm bolt, this one that's back here, if I can get to it, it is right there. That block off plate's got to come off too. That one down there, that's got to come off because it gets in the way of your bolt. Don't worry, it'll spew fluid too. Alright, that's what your little block off plate will look like, so you can get your last bolt out. Don't lose that little fucker. Alright, so now that all your bolts are taken out of your head, you're ready to remove it. Now this takes a little bit of finesse because you do not want to ding this thing at all. You don't want it to get it super dirty and you don't want to ding it. So I usually try to get it up like that to where it can move. Set it back down in place. Get the back and kind of wiggle it to where it's loose. The whole thing's moving. Alright, and trying to get most of your hoses and all your connections along here. Try to just get them completely out of the way. You don't want to pinch anything and cause more damage. And then you just grab it by. Alright, so you just grab it by bolt. Go. Just finesse. Finesse. Front it up. And then bring it straight out. Alright, so yay. Okay. That's important. Really important now to keep these parts clean as best you can. Spray them down with parts cleaner, degreaser, all that. Because now you are to the pistons in your engine. Alright. And obviously cylinder number 4, which obviously I replaced because that lifter tray is brand new. That one I have not replaced, but that one I've replaced. You always, when you replace lifters, you replace the trays. Always. No matter if they're brand new. This one's only a month old, I'm replacing it. Because what can happen, they're plastic, and it's got a little groove in there, and that groove will make that lifter turn. And when it turns, it'll go sideways, and it'll destroy your cam. And that's a no-no. Alright, so once you get that bolt removed, you want to slide your tray out very carefully, and they should come out just like that. Also make sure you don't have to do it for very long. I mean, I did mine overnight, but you can do it for a few hours. Just soak your lifter in oil. So I got mine sitting in a Tupperware. Got the new lifter tray. It's by Melling. I don't know how well it is. I personally like genuine GM parts, just because. But now time to put it all back together. Putting these in, so on your lifter, so that side's flat, and that side's got a groove in it. And then the same thing with that. See that little groove there, and then it's flat on the top. You take your groove and you match and put your groove to your groove. And now you just put your whole assembly back in there, nice and easy. So you've got your whole assembly here, and then you nice and easily put it down in its holes. You don't force any of these parts. If they don't go, something ain't right. Yep. Now she's all good. Now you just gotta put that bolt back in the middle of it, and then the next step. So probably the most important part of this is when you're putting this back together, after you got your tray and your lifter in that's been failed and all that stuff, and you're like, woohoo, I finally made it. Alright, don't go hauling ass to put it back together. You need to take, see, I've got coolant in all these cylinders, alright, and in all these holes, every single hole, there's coolant all in all these holes. Do not put those bolts right back in them holes with all that coolant in there. You need to get you an air compressor, can of duster, I don't care what it is. Get something down in there and get that water out of there, or you will crack your block when you go to put that bolt through and down in that hole, because it's going to compress all that coolant and it's going to crack your block, and then you need a new engine. Take your air compressor. See that water comes out of it? Another thing I like to do the pistons that are down in their sleeves, I like to take me just a finger and in the oil that you had your lifter in and just go around the rim of the ones that you can get to. Just that way you're not dry starting it. Alright, woo, congratulations. You installed your lifter. Now, you gotta repeat this process just in reverse. So, once I've got everything cleaned up, no standing water in any of the cylinders, I'm gonna go ahead and put. Now, don't take it from me. That head gasket's basically brand new, but in some of y'all's cases, definitely replace the head gasket. I've got a Felpro. I got it on Amazon for like 30 bucks. I know some people don't like Felpro. They call it Fail Pro and all that stuff. I haven't had an issue out of this thing. Works great. Go ahead, check your cylinder, check your head. If you want to, you take it light, take some brake clean to it, some engine degreaser to it. I'm gonna be taking this thing back apart in about a month anyways, so enough of the explaining. I'm just gonna kind of just show y'all how I put it all back together. And like I said, all this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. If you're mechanically inclined any type of way, you can do this. So make sure she sits on there nice and good. Yep. And then now's your fun part, putting the head back out on it. Another thing, your block off plate from earlier, that was hard, they had to take off because this tin's in the way. I just screw it in there a couple times, that way it doesn't come out, but it's loose, just to make it a little bit easier for me for installation. Same thing with that head bolt. For some reason that head bolt just doesn't like to come out with the headers, sitting the way it is, so I just leave it in there and it all comes right back in. All right, I'll put my head back on. I'm sitting in the engine, put my foot there, put my foot there. That way I've got enough room to where I can grab it and not mash the shit out of this bottom of this thing. And just do it very carefully. Like I said, probably put the back end in first. Back end, see how I have it right now, it's just resting. I put the back end first, go down in that way, and kind of lay it down gently. It's got two guides, one there and one in the front, so that way you can set it down and it'll stay in place. So there you go, your head's in place. Like I said, I just kind of just put my feet here and grab a hold in these little bolt holes here like that with my finger, that way I can hold it there, and then on the ground, and then there you go. Now you got to tighten that all back down. I put my middles in first, I put these in first. I go from the middle of your cylinder and I go out one way and then out the other way. And our head bolts, just go ahead and get ARPs, just spend the money and go ahead and get them. There you go, back on. I just got the top bolts to do, and then that intake's gonna go sit back down on it. Then I'm gonna put the exhaust back on. It should be about buttoned up after that. Now that your head's all bolted back up, go ahead and take your can out of your intake and just set that in place. And then right after that, go ahead and get your ratchet strap, get that out of the way. Go ahead and disconnect all that stuff. Alright, so and also, alright, I've got the intake on. Intake's good, nice and tight. Headers are on nice and tight. You just need to finagle them a little bit. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. When you're putting your rocker arms on, make sure that this is lined up and this is as center on your rocker arm as possible. As center on your spring, I'm sorry, as possible when you're tightening them, all of them down. Just go down the line, make sure they're all good. Guys, so buttoned everything up. I didn't think I had to babysit y'all on how to put the rest of it back together, since it was just a couple of, just go. You have to just go back through this video 1,000 times and you'll see. Just put it back together how the way you took it off, in the same order. All right, but I will show you. Truck starts up, runs great. 1 second, hold on. All right, it goes to show you, and just a little bit of knowledge. way. There you go. Oil pressure's back up more. Running great, nice and quiet. No ticking. Here we go, boys. Tune in next week. I'll be putting in an oil pump for her.